The martini glass shatters before Neria Cole even hits the ground. Ice cubes scatter across Italian marble like dice thrown by a careless god. Her knee slams into the floor first, sharp, brutal, then her palms. The tray spins once, twice, a silver blur under the chandelier, before clattering to rest against a Ferragamo loafer. Laughter erupts. Not polite laughter. The kind that cuts. The kind that marks you. Jesus Christ, someone slurs above her. What are they hiring these days? Salvation Army rejects. The man's breath reeks of 18-year scotch and old money. His friends lean back in their chairs, faces flushed with alcohol and entertainment. One of them, a blonde in a dress that costs more than Neria's car, holds up her phone. Recording. Neria's fingers tremble as she reaches for the scattered glass. Her manager appears at her shoulder, his face tight with the kind of fury that doesn't need volume. Outside, Marcus hisses. Now! She rises slowly, liquid dripping from her uniform onto the floor. The entire restaurant watches. Every table, every face. The mariner doesn't tolerate mistakes, and Neria has just made the most expensive one of her career. Wait. The word cuts through the noise like a blade through silk. Hi viewers, kindly tell us where you're watching from and what time it is. The voice comes from table 12, tucked in the corner where shadows gather thick despite the lighting. A man stands there. Tall, dark suit that probably cost more than Marcus makes in a year. His face remains calm, expressionless, but something in his posture makes the laughter die. Apologize to the lady. He doesn't raise his voice. Doesn't need to. The drunk man, Wall Street type, expensive haircut, wedding ring that catches the light, turns with a sneer already forming. Excuse me? Do you know who? I know exactly who you are, David Tremaine. Apex Capital. Third-tier fund manager with a gambling problem and a mistress in Brooklyn. The man from table 12 takes one step forward. Just one. Apologize. David's face drains of color, so fast Neria thinks he might faint. His friends have gone statue still. The blonde's phone drops to the table. I'm sorry. David's voice cracks. Miss, I'm truly sorry. I didn't mean. Leave. The man doesn't look at David anymore. His gaze shifts to Neria, and for a heartbeat, she forgets to breathe. Dark eyes. Calculating. The kind that see everything and reveal nothing. Get some water. You're shaking. Neria opens her mouth. No sound comes out. Marcus materializes beside the man, practically bowing. Mr. Moretti, please let me personally. She keeps her job, not a request. And David Tremaine is no longer welcome at this establishment. Then Cashin Moretti, because Neria recognizes the name now, recognizes the power that makes grown men stumble over apologies, turns and walks back to his table. His companion, a broad-shouldered man with a scar bisecting his left eyebrow, follows without a word. The entire restaurant exhales at once. Neria stands frozen, water still dripping from her sleeves, while David and his friends scramble for the exit like rats abandoning a sinking ship. Marcus touches her elbow gently, his earlier fury replaced by something closer to awe. Go clean up, he whispers. And for God's sake, don't talk to anyone about what just happened. She nods, stumbles toward the kitchen. Her co-workers part like the Red Sea, staring at her with expressions she can't decode. Jealousy? Fear? Curiosity? In the bathroom, Neria braces herself against the sink and stares at her reflection. Mascara smudged, uniform soaked, but alive, still employed, and marked by something she doesn't understand yet. When she returns to the floor 20 minutes later, table 12 is empty. No dices. No pamente sleep. Just a black business card resting where Cashin Moretti's water glass had been. The embossed letters catch the light. Moretti Group Holdings. Nothing else. No number. No address. Just a name that carries weight she's only beginning to comprehend. Neria slips the card into her apron pocket and feels it burn against her hip for the rest of the shift. Would you have stood up for a stranger the way Cashin did? Or would you have looked away like everyone else? Drop your answer in the comments. Cashin Moretti doesn't return to the Mariner for 3 days. Neria counts. She hates that she counts, but she does. Every shift, her eyes drift to table 12, always reserved, always empty. The other servers whisper when they think she can't hear. He owns half of Midtown. My cousin says he started in Brooklyn. Organized crime. No way Marcus lets her keep working here. She's a liability now. Neria keeps her head down and refills water glasses. Smiles at customers who don't see her. Pretends the black card in her locker doesn't exist. On the fourth night, he walks in. Same dark suit. Same quiet authority that makes the host stumble over his greeting. But this time, Cashin isn't alone. A man follows 2 steps behind. The one with the scar, built like a linebacker, eyes constantly scanning the room. They take table 12 without asking. Neria's hands shake as she approaches with menus. Her manager had been clear: be professional. Be invisible. Don't give him any reason to remember you exist. Good evening, gentlemen. Her voice sounds steadier than she feels. Can I start you with Miss Cole? Cashin's gaze lifts from his phone. He knows her name. Of course he knows her name. You're not drinking tonight, are you? Heat floods her cheeks. No, sir. I wasn't drunk that night. Just startled. A ghost of a smile touches his mouth. Good. He closes the menu without looking at it. Then you remember. The silence that follows feels heavy. Deliberate. The scar man, Dario, someone had whispered earlier, watches her with the intensity of a predator assessing prey. Remember what, sir? The words slip out before Neria can stop them. Cashin leans back in his chair. That some people in this city think their money makes them untouchable. His tone remains conversational, but something cold flickers behind his eyes. That they can humiliate anyone weaker without consequence. Neria's pulse hammers in her throat. I remember. And do you remember why David Tremaine tripped you? Her breath catches. It was an accident. It wasn't. Cashin picks up his water glass, studies the condensation on its surface. David works for a real estate group, trying to push my construction firm out of a downtown contract. He wanted to send a message. Use you to embarrass Marcus, who happens to be my cousin's business partner. The floor tilts beneath Neria's feet. She wasn't a victim. She was a pawn. I didn't know. Of course you didn't. Cashin sets down the glass. But now you do. And now David Tremaine understands what happens when someone uses an innocent person to play games with me. Dario shifts in his seat, and Neria notices for the first time the faint bulge beneath his jacket. Not a phone. The salmon tonight, Cashin says, as if they've been discussing nothing more serious than weather. And Dario will have the steak. Rare. Neria's legs move on autopilot. She writes down the order, mumbles something about it being right out, and flees to the kitchen. Her co-worker Shanice grabs her arm. Girl, what did he say to you? You look like you've seen a ghost. Nothing. Neria pulls free, just taking his order. But the lie tastes bitter on her tongue, because Cashin Moretti had looked at her, really looked, and seen something. Not pity, not desire, recognition, like he knew exactly what it felt like to be used. The whispers start before Neria's next shift even begins. She arrives at the Mariner to find Shanice and 2 other servers clustered near the host stand, voices low but urgent. They scatter when they see her, but not before Neria catches the tail end of their conversation. Probably sleeping with him already. I heard Marcus is pissed but can't do anything. Who does she think she is? Neria pretends she didn't hear. Changes into her uniform. Ties her apron with fingers that won't stop shaking. Marcus calls her into his office before service starts. He doesn't sit. Doesn't invite her to sit either. You're causing problems, he says flatly. I haven't done anything. You exist. That's enough. Marcus rubs his temples like she's giving him a migraine. Do you know what happened to David Tremaine? Neria shakes her head. His firm lost their biggest investor yesterday. Pulled out overnight. No explanation. They're projecting layoffs by end of month. Marcus leans against his desk. And the restaurant David went to after leaving here? The one he's been a regular at for 5 years? They banned him. Called him a liability. The air in the office feels too thin. I didn't ask for any of this, Neria whispers. Doesn't matter what you asked for. Marcus's expression softened slightly. Cashin Moretti decided you were worth defending. That makes you part of something bigger now, whether you like it or not. Neria wants to argue. Wants to insist she's just a waitress who got caught in the wrong moment. But the black card in her locker proves otherwise. "What do I do?" she asks. Marcus sighs. "Your job. Keep your head down. And if Moretti comes back," he pauses. "Be smart, Neria. Men like him don't do favors without expecting something in return." The words follow her onto the floor, wrap around her ribs like wire. That night passes in a blur of orders and forced smiles. Cashin doesn't return, but his absence feels louder than his presence. Every customer at table 12, a nervous couple celebrating an anniversary, makes Neria's stomach clench. She's clearing their dessert plates when her phone buzzes in her apron pocket. Unknown number. She almost ignores it. The message is simple. David Tremaine had connections. More than you know. Stay alert. No signature. No context. Neria's hands go numb. The plates slip. Would have shattered if Shanice hadn't caught them. "You okay?" Shanice's concern sounds genuine for once. "Fine." Neria steadies herself. "Just tired." But she's not tired. She's terrified. Because someone, maybe Cashin, maybe one of his people, is watching her. Knows her number. Knows she's in danger. The syndicate David worked for. The real estate group. They wouldn't take Cashin's interference lightly. Which means Neria Cole, invisible waitress who'd never asked for anything, had just become visible to very dangerous people. Cashin returns exactly 1 week later. Neria sees him before he sees her. Or at least, she thinks she does. He's at table 12 again, but this time there are 4 men with him. Dario sits closest, but the others are unfamiliar. Expensive suits. Hard faces. The kind of men who look like they've never waited for anything in their lives. She approaches with water glasses balanced on a tray, heart hammering against her ribs. "Gentlemen," her voice doesn't shake. "Small miracle. Welcome to the Mariner." One of the men, silver-haired, older, with hands that look like they've done manual labor despite the Rolex, glances at Cashin. "This her?" Cashin doesn't answer immediately. He's reading something on his phone, expression unreadable. Finally, he looks up, and his gaze lands on Neria with the precision of a sniper's scope. "Miss Cole." Not a question. Never question with him. "My associates wanted to meet you." Neria's grip tightens on the tray. "I am sorry. You made an impression." The silver-haired man leans back, studying her the way someone might study a painting at auction. Cashin doesn't defend people. Not publicly. Not ever. So naturally, we're curious what makes you special. Blood rushes in Neria's ears. "I'm just a witness," Cashin interrupts smoothly. To poor behavior that needed correcting. Nothing more. But the way he says it, the slight emphasis on witness, sends a chill down Neria's spine. She's not just a waitress anymore. She's evidence. Proof that Cashin Moretti can act on principle. That he's not purely the monster the newspapers hint at. Of course. The silver-haired man doesn't look convinced. "Well then, I'll have the Dover sole." The others order mechanically. Neria writes everything down, desperate to escape. But Cashin's voice stops her before she can turn. "One more thing, Miss Cole." She freezes. "Yes. You received a message. Last Tuesday, around 10:15 p.m. He tilts his head slightly. "Did you reply?" The room narrows to just his face. "How did you answer the question?" "No." Her throat feels like sandpaper. "I deleted it." Something shifts in Cashin's expression. Not quite approval, but close. "Smart. If you receive another, bring it to Marcus immediately. He'll know what to do." Dario's hand moves to his jacket. The gesture is subtle, but Neria catches it. Protection or threat, she can't tell. Understood, she manages. When she reaches the kitchen, she has to lean against the walk-in cooler just to breathe. Shanice appears at her elbow, eyes wide with questions, but Neria waves her off. Marcus finds her 10 minutes later. What did he want? To order food. Neria. He knows about the text. She meets Marcus's gaze. He knows someone's threatening me. And she stops. What is Cashin doing? Protecting her? Using her? I don't know what his plan is. Marcus's jaw tightens. His plan is to make sure no one touches what he's claimed. He hasn't claimed. You think that matters? Marcus's laugh is bitter. You stood in his line of fire, and he caught the bullet. That makes you his responsibility now. And anyone who goes after you is going after him. The weight of those words settles in Neria's chest like stones. She finishes her shift in a daze, serves Cashin's table without incident, watches as he and his associates leave without looking back. But when she checks her locker at the end of the night, there's something new. A small envelope. No name. No posti. Inside, a note in handwriting she doesn't recognize. They won't stop. But neither will he. And beneath it, a phone number. No signature. No explanation. Just 7 digits that feel like a lifeline and a noose all at once. The drunk man returns on a Thursday. Neria spots him the moment he stumbles through the entrance. David Tremaine, but different. Unshaven. Suit wrinkled. Eyes bloodshot and wild with something that looks like desperation mixed with rage. Marcus moves to intercept him, but David's already pushing past the host stand. Where is she? His voice carries across the dining room. Heads turn. Conversazionsdi. Where's the bitch who ruined my life? Neria's body goes rigid. She's at the bar, 3 feet from the kitchen door, but her legs won't move. David's gaze locks on her. You. He crosses the distance in seconds. Too fast for Marcus to grab him, too sudden for anyone to react. His hand clamps around Neria's wrist, fingers digging in hard enough to bruise. Do you have any idea what you've done? Spit flies from his lips. I lost everything. My job. My wife. My house is being foreclosed. Let go. Neria tries to pull free, but David's grip tightens. You think you're special? You think Moretti gives a damn about some waitress? David jerks her forward. You're nothing. A toy he'll throw away the second you stop being useful. The last word dies in his throat, because Cashin Moretti has appeared at David's shoulder like a shadow given form. No warning. No footsteps. 1 second the space is empty. The next, Cashin's hand wraps around the back of David's neck. You had your one warning. The words are barely above a whisper, but they carry the weight of a judge's sentence. David releases Neria and spins. Hands up, face drained of color. I didn't, Mr. Moretti. I wasn't. Cashin slams him against the bar. The sound, bone meeting wood, cracks through the restaurant like a gunshot. Glasses rattle. Someone screams. Dario materializes from nowhere, blocking the dining room's view, while 2 other men in dark suits move to the entrance. Don't. Cashin's voice remains calm, almost gentle, but his hand presses David's face into the mahogany. Don't lie to me. Don't touch what's mine. And don't ever set foot in this establishment again. David whimpers something incoherent. Cashin leans closer, and Neria catches fragments of his words. Debts are paid in different ways. Brooklyn knows your name. Consider this mercy. Then he straightens and looks at Neria. Go outside. But now. She moves without thinking. Through the kitchen, past stun-line cooks, out the back entrance into the alley where delivery trucks unload. Her wrist throbs where David grabbed her. Her pulse hammers so loud she can't hear her own thoughts. 5 minutes pass. 10. When the door finally opens, it's Dario who emerges. You can go home now. What happened? David Tremaine left through the front. He won't bother you again. Dario's expression gives away nothing. Mr. Moretti wants you to take tomorrow off. Paid. I don't understand. You don't need to. Dario reaches into his jacket. Neria flinches and pulls out a phone. New. Still in the box. Your personal number is compromised. Use this one. Already programmed with the contacts you need. He hands it to her and walks back inside without another word. Neria stands in the alley, holding a phone that probably costs more than her monthly rent, and realizes with crystal clarity, she's not just marked anymore. She's owned. Do you believe some people deserve a second chance? Or just one warning? Tell us in the comments below. The envelope appears in Neria's locker 3 mornings later. No sound. No warning. She opens the metal door, expecting her spare shoes, and finds cream-colored paper resting on top of her folded apron. The restaurant is empty. Too early for the morning prep crew, but she still glances over her shoulder before picking it up. The card inside is thick. Expensive. 1 word embossed in gold. Thanks. Beneath it, handwritten in black ink that looks like it costs more per letter than she makes per hour, for remembering. CM. Neria's fingers tremble as she reads it twice. 3 times. Searching for hidden meaning in 8 words that say everything and nothing. She shoves the card into her purse and slams the locker shut hard enough to make the whole row rattle. Marcus finds her in the supply closet 20 minutes later. Counting napkins, she's already counted twice. You okay? He doesn't sound concerned. Just tired. Fiend. David Tremaine filed a police report. Says Cashin assaulted him. Marcus crosses his arms. Funny thing, though, every camera in the restaurant mysteriously malfunctioned that night. No footy. No witnesses willing to talk. Neria's hands still on the napkin stack. What happens now? Nothing. Case gets dropped by Monday, if it even makes it that far. Marcus watches her carefully. You know what that means, right? She does. It means Cashin Moretti owns more than construction firms and investment portfolios. He owns silence. Owns the ability to erase inconvenient truths. He left you a note, didn't he? Marcus asks. How did you? Because he leave them for everyone who matters. Marcus's expression hardens. My advice? Throw it away. Forget it happened. Go back to being invisible. But Neria can't. The card burns in her purse like evidence of a crime she didn't commit but can't deny participating in. That night, she lies in her studio apartment. 4th floor, radiator that clanks, window that won't fully close, and stares at the card on her nightstand. The new phone Dario gave her sits beside it, still in the box. Unopened. Her old phone buzzes. Text from Shanice. You coming to Keisha's birthday thing Saturday? Neria types and deletes 3 responses before settling on. Maybe. Another buzz. Unknown number on her old phone. You think you're safe now? Her breath stops. He can't protect you forever. And when he gets bored, you'll understand what David felt. Neria's hands shake so badly, she almost drops the phone. She should tell Marcus. Should call the number Dario programmed into the new phone. Should do something. Instead, she deletes the message and turns off her phone. Because part of her, the part that's been invisible her whole life, wonders if the thread is right. If Cashin's protection is just another form of possession. If she's traded one kind of powerlessness for another. Sleep doesn't come until almost dawn. When it does, she dreams of shattered glass and a voice that cuts through laughter like a knife through silk. The news breaks on a Tuesday. Neri is folding napkins in the break room when Shanice bursts in, phone in hand, eyes wide. Girl, you need to see this. The headline fills the screen. Major real estate syndicate collapses amid fraud investigation. Neria's pulse kicks. What? Apex Capital. That whole group David worked for. Shanice scrolls through the article. Says here they've been embezzling funds, bribing city officials, falsifying property assessments. FBI raided their offices this morning. 17 arrests. The napkin in Neria's hands tears. That's the company that was trying to push out. Shanice stops. Looks at Neria with new understanding. Oh my God. This is about Moretti, isn't it? Neria can't answer. Can't breathe. Because the timeline is too perfect. David humiliates her. Cashin defends her. The syndicate loses their investor. David spirals. Cashin warns him. Now the entire organization crumbles. This wasn't protection. This was demolition. Marcus appears in the doorway. Neria. Office. Now. She follows him on legs that feel disconnected from her body. He closes the door and doesn't sit. You need to understand something. His voice is lower than she's ever heard it. What you witnessed, what Cashin did, that wasn't about you. Not really. I know. No, you don't. Marcus pulls up something on his phone and turns it toward her. A news article from 3 years ago. Moretti Group acquires waterfront development rights. The property listed is the same one mentioned in today's scandal. Cashin's been planning this for months. Maybe longer. Marcus's jaw tightens. The syndicate tried to block his permits, bribe inspectors, tie him up in litigation. He couldn't touch them legally. Too many connections. Too much political cover. Understanding hits Neria like cold water. So he waited for them to make a mistake. He created the mistake. Marcus pockets his phone. David tripping you? That wasn't random. Cashin made sure David would be here that night. Made sure he'd be drunk enough, angry enough, reckless enough to do something public. The floor tilts. He used me. He used everyone. Marcus's tone holds no judgment, just fact. But here's what you need to remember. While he was using you, he also protected you. Could have let David hurt you worse. Could have let the syndicate retaliate. Didn't. Neria thinks of the texts, the threats, the way Cashin appeared at exactly the right moment, every time. He knew they'd come after me, she whispers. Of course he knew. He counted on it. Marcus moves toward the door, then pauses. The question isn't whether Cashin Moretti is ruthless. It's whether his ruthlessness protects or destroys you. He leaves her alone in the office with that impossible choice. That night, Neria finally opens the new phone. 3 contacts already programmed. Marcus, Dario, and one listed simply as C. She stares at that third name for 20 minutes. Then she texts the only thing that makes sense. I know what you did. The response comes in seconds. Good. Then you know what I'm capable of. Her fingers hover over the keyboard. She should be angry. Should feel violated. Should quit the Mariner and disappear into the kind of anonymity she'd perfected before Cashin decided she mattered. Instead, she types, why me? 3 dots appear. Disappear. Appear again. Finally, because you didn't look away. For words that crack something open in Neria's chest. Because he's right. When David mocked her, when the restaurant laughed, she'd looked at every single face. Memorized their amusement. Their indifference. Their cruelty. She'd witnessed them the way they refused to witness her. And Cashin had seen that. Had recognized something in her silence that wasn't weakness but storage. The kind of quiet that remembers everything. The kind of quiet that, in the right hands, becomes dangerous. The invitation arrives by courier on a Saturday morning. Neria signs for it in her pajamas, hair wrapped, no makeup, and the delivery man doesn't even blink. Just hands her a cream envelope that matches the car from her locker and disappears down the stairwell. Inside, thick paper. Real ink. Handwriting she recognizes now. There's a job opening at the Moretti Foundation. Administrative work. Consider it an apology for the chaos I brought into your life. No obligation. Just an option. CM. Below it, an address in Tribeca and a time. Monday, 10 a.m. Neria reads it 3 times. Then she calls the one person who might understand. Marcus answers on the second ring. He offered you a job, didn't he? How did you? Because that's what he does. Finds people he can use and gives them reasons to stay close. Marcus sounds resigned. You going? Neria looks around her apartment. Peeling paint. Second-hand furniture. A life built from scraps of other people's abundance. I don't know. Let me make it simple. Marcus's voice turns hard. You take this job, you're in his world. Permanently. Everything you do, everyone you meet, every choice you make, it all connects back to him. You understand that. She does. But she also understands something else. She's been invisible her entire life. Working jobs where people look through her. Living in spaces nobody notices. Surviving on the edges of other people's importance. Cashin Moretti sees her. Really sees her. And whether that's manipulation or recognition doesn't change the fact that for the first time, someone powerful has decided she's worth the investment. I'm going, she says quietly. Marcus is silent for a long moment. Then be smart about it. Don't fall in love with the power. Don't forget what he's capable of. And for God's sake, Neria, don't let him make you into something you can't live with. Monday comes too fast and too slow. Neria takes the subway to Tribeca, wearing the one professional dress she owns. Navy, modest, bought for a job interview 2 years ago that went nowhere. The Moretti Foundation occupies 3 floors of a building with doormen and marble lobbies and the kind of quiet that comes from serious money. The receptionist, an older black woman with silver locks and kind eyes, smiles when Neria gives her name. Mr. Moretti said you'd be early. He's in a conference room. 10th floor. The elevator ride feels like falling and rising at the same time. Cashin stands at floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Hudson. He doesn't turn when she enters. Do you know what this foundation does, Miss Cole? Philanthropy. Community investment. Her research had been thorough. Scholarships. Housing initiatives. Legal aid. Reparation. He finally looks at her. For damage I've caused. directly or indirectly. Money doesn't erase harm, but it can redirect futures. Neria steps closer. Is that what I am? Reparation? No. Cash-in moves away from the window. You're proof that intervention matters. That timing and attention can change outcomes. Or control them. A smile ghosts across his face. Genuine this time. You're smarter than I gave you credit for. You gave me plenty of credit. That's why I'm here. Neria sets her purse down. What do you actually want from me, Mr. Moretti? He considers her for a long moment. I want someone who understands what it's like to be underestimated, who knows how systems work because they've been crushed by them, who won't forget where they came from just because I'm offering them somewhere better to go. The honesty in his voice surprises her. And if I take this job, she asks, what do I become? That's entirely up to you. Cash-in hands her a folder. Employment contract. Salary. Benefits. Read it carefully. Take it to a lawyer if you want. No pressure. No timeline. Neria opens the folder and nearly drops it. The salary is 3 times what she makes at the Mariner. The benefits include health care, retirement matching, and something called a discretionary housing allowance. This is too much. It's what the position pays. Cash-in's tone brooks no argument. If you're uncomfortable, donate the difference. But don't insult either of us by suggesting you're not worth it. She looks up and finds him watching her with that same unreadable expression. Not desire, not pity, something closer to recognition. Like he knows exactly what it costs to accept help from powerful hands. I'll start next Monday, Nereus says. And just like that, she steps off the edge of her old life into something terrifying and inevitable and entirely her own choice. The office becomes Nereus' sanctuary in ways she doesn't expect. 3 weeks in, she's learned the foundation's rhythms. Mornings reviewing grant applications. Afternoons coordinating with community organizations. Evenings processing legal aid requests from people who sound like younger versions of herself. Desperate, overlooked, running out of options. Cash-in appears rarely. When he does, it's brief. Professional. He asks about her workload, listens to her suggestions, and disappears back into whatever shadows men like him inhabit. But tonight, he's still here at 8 p.m. when Neria finishes filing the last case report. She finds him in his office, city lights painting his face in strips of gold and darkness. He's staring at something on his desk, a photograph, old and creased. You should go home, Miss Cole. He doesn't look up. So should you. She hesitates at the door. But you won't. That gets his attention. Perceptive. Observant. Neria steps inside. There's a difference. Cash-in sets down the photograph. For the first time since she's known him, he looks tired. Actually tired, not just controlled. Do you want to know why I really saved you that night? Her heart kicks. You said I reminded you of someone. My sister. The words come out flat. Rehearsed from repetition. Younger. Quiet. Worked as a home health aide. She was in the wrong apartment at the wrong time when a deal went bad. He picks up the photograph. She died because someone needed to send a message, and she was convenient. Neria's throat tightens. I'm sorry. I don't want your sympathy. Cash-in's eyes meet hers. I want you to understand. I don't save people, Miss Cole. Not anymore. I stopped believing in rescue the day I couldn't save the one person who actually mattered. Then why? Because when I saw you on that floor, covered in other people's drinks, being laughed at by people who've never struggled a day in their lives, he stops. Regroups. You looked at them. Every single one. Like you were cataloging their faces. Their cruelty. And I thought, that's not someone who needs saving. That's someone who's learning exactly who to never become. The silence between them hums with something electric and dangerous. You didn't save me, Neria says quietly. You weaponized me. Yes. The honesty shouldn't surprise her, but it does. And now, she asks, now you get to decide what you do with that knowledge. Cash-in stands, rounds the desk, stops close enough that she can smell his cologne. Expensive, understated. You can walk away, take the job somewhere else, disappear back into the kind of life where men like me don't interfere, or where you stay, and you help me build something that matters more than revenge. His voice drops. This foundation, it's not about charity. It's about making sure other people's sisters don't die because they're convenient. Neria should leave. should run from this man who admits to using her, should go back to serving overpriced food to people who'll never learn her name. Instead, she says, "I'm staying." Something shifts in Cashin's expression. Not quite relief. Not quite approval. Something rawer. Then you need to know what that means. He moves to the window. I have enemies. Real ones. People who'd hurt you just to hurt me. And I can't, his jaw tightens. I can't promise to protect you every time. I'm not asking you to. He turns. Then what are you asking? For the truth. Always. Neria meets his gaze and holds it. No more using me as a chess piece. No more secrets that put me in danger. If we're doing this, if I'm really part of your world, I need to see the whole board. Cashin studies her for a long moment. Then he extends his hand. Deal. She shakes it. His grip is warm. Firm. The kind of handshake that seals contracts and changes destinies. When she leaves the office that night, she realizes what's shifted. She's not his project anymore. She's his partner. And that's infinitely more dangerous. The evidence appears 6 months later in a place Neria knows she shouldn't be looking. She's in Cashin's office early, before anyone else arrives, retrieving a file she'd left the night before. The loose floorboard catches her heel. Pure accident. But when she kneels to fix it, she sees the metal box underneath. She should leave it, should walk away, should remember Marcus's warning about becoming something she can't live with. Instead, she pulls it out. Inside, documents. Old ones. Property deeds tied to shell companies. Wire transfer records to offshore accounts. And photographs. Men she recognizes from news reports, all labeled with dates and locations. Evidence of crimes she can't unsee. Her hands shake as she photographs everything with her phone. Then she puts the box back exactly as she found it. She's replacing the floorboard when Cashin's voice cuts through the silence. Find what you're looking for. Neria's blood turns to ice. She stands slowly, phone burning in her pocket. I dropped a file. Don't. He's leaning in the doorway, expression unreadable. Don't lie to me. Not after everything. The air between them crystallizes. Someone's coming for you, Neria says quietly. I saw the subpoena last week. Federal investigation. They're building a case. I know. Cashin steps into the office. That's why I left the box there. Her breath stops. What? I needed to know what you do. He moves closer. Not threatening. Just present. If you take it to the authorities, use it against me. Protect yourself. This is a test. Anger flares hot in Neria's chest. You've been testing me? No. His voice turns soft. Honest. I've been giving you a choice. The same choice you gave me that night at the Mariner when you remember their faces. When you didn't pretend to forget. Neria pulls out her phone, opens the photos, holds it up so he can see. I could destroy you right now. You could. Cashin doesn't move. But you won't. How do you know? Because you understand what I've been trying to tell you for months. He takes the phone gently from her hands, deletes every photo without looking away from her face. Justice isn't always legal, and protection isn't always pure. Neria should be furious, should feel manipulated, should walk away and never look back. But she thinks of the foundation, the families rehoused, the kids sent to college, the women given legal aid to escape dangerous situations. All of it funded by money Cashin earned through means she can't defend but can entirely condemn. What happens now, she asks. The investigation will find nothing. The evidence will disappear. Cashin hands her phone back, and you'll decide whether you can live with knowing that. He starts to leave. Stops. For what it's worth, Neria, I'm sorry. For making you part of this. For putting you in a position where you have to choose between right and necessary. She watches him go. Then she looks at the empty space on her phone where the evidence had been. 3 hours later, she's sitting in her apartment when the news breaks. Federal investigation into Moretti Group closed. Insufficient evidence. Her phone rings. Cashin, I'm not apologizing, she says before he can speak. I'm not asking you to. A pause. I'm asking if you're still in. Neria looks around her apartment. New place, better neighborhood. Still modest, but no longer desperate. Looks at the employee ID on her counter from a foundation that does real good with complicated money. I'm in, she says, but on one condition. Name it. No more tests. No more games. If we're doing this, if I'm really part of your world, then treat me like an equal. Not a project. Not a pawn. A partner. The silence stretches. Then deal. When she hangs up, Neria feels something shift in her chest. Not quite peace. Not quite power. Something closer to acceptance. She'll never know if she made the right choice. But she knows she made her own choice. And sometimes, that's the only kind of justice that matters. The quiet kind. The kind that happens when no one's watching. The kind that asks impossible questions and refuses easy answers. 3 years later, the Moretti Foundation opens its 5th community center. Neria stands at the ribbon-cutting ceremony beside Cashin, watching kids from neighborhoods like the one she grew up in pour through the doors. A reporter approaches. "Miss Cole, some people say this foundation is just Mr. Moretti trying to buy redemption. What do you say to that?" Neria smiles. "I say redemption isn't something you buy. It's something you build. One choice at a time. One person at a time. And sometimes, the people who need redemption most are the ones brave enough to admit they're building it." The reporter leaves, unsatisfied. But Cashin catches her eye and nods once. Understanding. Because they both know the truth. He didn't save her. She didn't save him. They chose each other. Complications and all. Darkness and all. Justice that doesn't fit neat definitions, and mercy that costs more than money. And in the end, that's what remembering really means. Not pretending the world is simple. Not pretending people are purely good or purely evil. But choosing every single day to act with integrity when no one's watching. To protect when you have power. To remember when everyone else forgets. To build something better, even if you can't erase everything worse. That's the kind of strength that doesn't shout. It whispers, and it changes everything. If this story touched you, if you believe in second chances, complicated redemption, and the power of quiet justice, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss another story that inspires. Drop a comment sharing your thoughts. Your words might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. Because the best stories aren't just told, they're shared, remembered, and carried forward. See you in the next one.